Hi, welcome everybody. It's me, the guy that had so many plans throughout the year of 2022 and nothing came to fruition. Jesus Christ. I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update on what I plan on doing. Do I plan on giving up on this channel? No. I mean, haven't really committed too much, so I need to really give up or to really kind of, start over. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on what I plan on doing. 2022 has been a year where I started off the year with a lot of ambition. I've learned some trade skills like animation and a little bit of editing, but 2022 hasn't exactly been what I would consider a great year. It's been a solid year, but not a fantastic year. A lot of personal bullshit going on. The world was nearly destroyed this year. I mean, holy shit, we were seeing ourselves go to near fucking World War III. Jesus Christ, DEFCON 1? I don't know about all that. But I do want to give you guys an update on that. I do plan on being more attentive to this channel. I do plan on being a little bit more inspired. I am inspired, definitely, as the title of this video will indicate. But yeah, I do want to give you guys a bit of content as we move into the new year. I am transitioning a little bit from these like very static background type of videos to a little bit more video essay, but more smaller bites. I don't want to be able to keep these videos any longer than like 15 minutes. If they extend to 15 minutes, sure, cool. I do plan on making some videos, but throughout the year and the remainder of 2022, I do want to make more content that's more reflective on something and stuff that I enjoy, rather than try to be as as pleasing to the YouTube algorithm, because the YouTube algorithm is a complete piece of shit. I think everybody knows that. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's a little bit of an experiment. Yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and we'll see you guys at the end of this video. Bye. Hi, how you doing? Happy, what is it, November? Jesus Christ. I've been slacking, yo. Y'all ever heard of a place, it's a little small known place called Disneyland? That's really what this fucking video is about. So, I recently went to the Disney theme parks, and look, I'm gonna try to keep this video as short and as sweet and as concise to the point as fucking possible. But I recently went to the Disney parks, and I'm gonna say something that I think most people have already echoed into the fucking oblivion, and I'm not happy in the direction the fucking Disney Corporation is heading. Rather it be their stream of content that has been less desirable on their streaming platform Disney Plus, their most recent film outings being very, very disappointing, into the way the recent CEO, I don't know, something about Chapak or something like that, kind of running the company to the ground. Or how about the way the company is desperately relying on nostalgia and trying to squeeze as much out of that nostalgic bomb that is the 2010s. Moving into the 2020s, I think nostalgia has become somewhat of a fucking parody of itself. So the Disney company has struggled, I believe, in the 2020s. None of their film outings, although let's be honest, 2020 wasn't exactly the perfect start to the new decade. But hey, you can't fault them for trying. You know what I mean? Disney seems to be in this weird sort of what I would consider post-Endgame fatigue, where the entire brand, whether it be Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, doesn't really matter. Everything underneath that Disney umbrella has been under a lot of scrutiny since pretty much 2019. 2019 was a fucking big year for Disney. Whether it be Avengers Endgame, the opening of Galaxy's Edge, the ending of the sequel trilogy to the original Star Wars movies. It was a huge, huge year, but it also was a year. It also was a year prior to the pandemic. And I think a lot of things happened in 2019 that we didn't know. For instance, Bob Iger, the former CEO and president of the Walt Disney Company, retired. And his retirement, Bob Chapek, who is the current CEO of the Walt Disney Company, stepped in, and a lot of changes were made. I don't really know much about Bob Chapek. I do understand he comes from a background of, I want to say, business. I don't know what kind of business. I didn't do much research into this video. But, yeah, it was one of those things where originally, I do believe that there was a lot of initial plans to kind of have 2020 be the decade that continues the Disney Renaissance. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the 2020s has been less than stellar. Now, as for theme parks, which is really the kind of purpose of this video, there are a lot of promises for the theme park, I think, moving into it. I think the idea that 2021 and 2022 and everything onwards, really 2020, would have been the biggest year the theme parks would have had. You would have seen the opening of Galaxy's Edge, which initially did happen, but in small phases, and it didn't really open to large quantities because the pandemic obviously took place. They ended up pushing Avengers Campus a little bit back until 2021 for the celebration of Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. The Tron Light Cycle roller coaster didn't open. So much happened, but we're not here to talk about Disney World yet, since I haven't been in a while. Today we're talking about Disneyland. And I would like to say the many issues that plague the park, but the biggest one, I think, is Disney's most recent reservation system. Now, in theory, Disney's reservation system works on a availability basis, meaning that the park would essentially not run under the idea or guidance that there wouldn't be such max capacity. There would be a finite amount of people entering the park every day. Except Disney doesn't equate the fact that they have a service called Disney Park Hopper. Disney Park Hopper initially allows guests to hop between Disneyland and California Adventure. Hopping in between these two parks on a normal day is no real issue because a lot of the times Disney kind of plans for this. Except one thing Disney didn't really plan all too well, or they didn't anticipate, was large quantities during Disney's special ticketed events. Now, I guess I'm jumping a little bit forward, but like I said, I don't want to keep this video any longer. So, long story short, Disney has special ticketed events during the month of October and September, pretty much in celebration of the Halloween season. This is Oogie Boogie's Bash, or the Oogie Boogie Bash, and this is a Halloween celebration thing they do at the neighboring park of California Adventure. Now, like I said, I went on Thursday, the 27th. This is the weekend before Thanksgiving, and this is really my fault. I should have known better, but I decided to go. Now, there's no issue with people migrating from the other park, as long as we, the guests at Disneyland, can migrate to California Adventure, and vice versa. The problem with that, however, is that they had a special ticket special ticket event the night I went, and the problem with that is that I believe the reservation systems already are at max capacity. So if you have both parks at max capacity and those people have to migrate to the neighboring park, you're going to run into an issue of higher capacity than usual. To say that the 27th of October was one of the busiest I think I've ever seen the theme park in a very long time is an understatement. It was fucking overwhelming. But the biggest issue obviously was capacity. Now, that's not necessarily an issue. Obviously, you should know better to go during a holiday season, really during the heaviest season throughout the next couple of years. That's just given. It's a theme park. You know, they get busy. It's Disneyland. It's one of the biggest brands out there. The problem with that, however, lies in the fact that everything was at fucking capacity. Rides that hardly anyone goes on, capacity. The fact that I had to wait longer than 50 minutes for Star Tours is a little bit ridiculous, but I ended up waiting something along the lines of like 55 minutes for Star Tours. I was almost going to buy a Lightning Lane, but I think it's not on there individually, and you do have to get it via, I do believe, Genie Plus, so I didn't do that. Honestly, the whole experience was a mixed bag. I did enjoy myself. I do enjoy going on Star Tours, going on Space Mountain. I do enjoy going on Pirates. I do enjoy riding the rides, going to the theme park. It's such a great experience. It's so fun. The biggest problem with that, though, is that with such high capacity and with so little walking space, you're already kind of dealing with the fact that you already feel kind of packed in like a sardine at the theme park. Even in natural and non-busy seasons, it already feels kind of overwhelmingly busy. So just to imagine that was busy. Okay, fine. That's cool. If you don't want to go there in that time, that's fine. The problem is that the Walt Disney Company seemingly thinks that charging an up price, mind you, prices continue to skyrocket here and there, and it becomes more of an issue of inconsistency with pricing and inconsistency with quality. The biggest issue I also wanted to mention is that Disney seems to have an issue with breakdowns. This is more current than I think it should be. On average, rides do need to make time for downtime. It happens, nothing's invincible there. The problem is when you have such little space. Again, Disneyland compared to Disney World or any other Disney theme parks is so small that you're going to run into issues of breakdown, and then you're going to have an issue of capacity going from one ride to another. There's a great video by Defunctland where he goes into detail about lines and so on and so forth. I highly recommend you check out that video. But that video becomes more apparent when you're at the theme parks, and it's a little annoying because I think there's a way to kind of avoid this altogether. So like I said, there is a way to avoid this, and one of the ways to avoid this, generally speaking, is the fact that you can easily avoid these theme parks being at such high capacity if you were overall to limit the amount of people. So, for instance, if you're going to have both California Adventure and Disneyland guests migrating into Disneyland and being in Disneyland after 6 p.m., there should be a way to limit the amount of people. The problem is both parks are filled at capacity, and there is that off chance that the people who are at both parks, a portion of that would go home. Obviously, that's not always going to happen, and sometimes you're going to run into issues like that. That's sort of a problem. That's a big no-no, especially if you're paying so much. I want to mention that I don't live on the West or East Coast. I do live in the Midwest, where we have some of the greatest weather out there. And I don't often get to frequently fly to both coasts. So when I inevitably do go to both parks, I, as a customer, ultimately expect to ride practically what I can. I try to make the most out of it. So it is infuriating when both parks at such a high capacity to the point where you could only really ride less than 8 rides per day, and it becomes kind of a problem. Another issue is pricing. Everything you see here, from this, that, pricing is so inconsistent. There's so much inconsistency with these theme parks that I think overall, if you're somebody who hasn't been to the theme parks and you just so happen to go on that set day, there is a high likelihood you're not going to have the greatest experience because there's so many limiting factors that ultimately hold you back from experiencing the theme park to the fullest capacity or the fullest extent, and that's sort of a problem. As far as I'm aware, there have been a lot of people who have complained and brought this to the attention of the Walt Disney Company. And honestly, this is more or less an issue of Disney trying to get as much money and revenue from practically everybody. And that's the biggest issue. I recommend that if you end up going to these theme parks during this time of the year, do a little bit of research. Just don't go during holidays or busy times. Obviously, I believe, what was it, like from October all the way down to like January, like mid-January really, it's considered the busiest season, and hell, even during spring break. So really do some research, kind of get in there, type it into the interwebs, figure out what is the best time of the year to go to these parks. So that being said, this is my first attempt at making some type of more informative video. God, I pulled this out my fucking ass. So, as always, thank you guys so much for sticking around, and hopefully you guys can stick around. I do have a video next week for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Oh, that'll be a great video. It'll be spicy, but we'll definitely try to do the best we can with that video. Outside of that, I do want to give you guys a little bit of a rundown. I do want to do videos on God of War. I know Callisto Protocol. I do want to do some gaming stuff, so I'll definitely try to do more gaming vids. I'll definitely try to do these more informative videos. But other than that, please watch my videos. Please subscribe, por favor. Please go ahead, subscribe. I'm desperate. I'm a prostitute. Bye.